Good day. Let me ask you a question. What happens when a plan no longer works? Do you stick to it, hoping things will turn around? Or do you adapt fast, smart, and decisively? Today, we explore a timeless lesson from one of the most respected military minds in history, Sun Tzu, in his legendary work, The Art of War. Our focus is on a crucial chapter, Variations in Tactics. It's not just about war, it's about leadership, strategy, survival, success. Because here's the truth: the greatest threat to any plan is believing it will always work. Again, the greatest threat to any plan is believing it will always work. Sun Tzu teaches us that the ability to shift, adjust, and evolve in the face of changing conditions, that is what defines a true leader. And in a world where change is constant, this lesson could not be more relevant. So let's dive into the wisdom of ancient battlefields that still guides modern minds today. I'm Kent Gallo, and I will be your reporter for today. In The Art of War by Sun Tzu, variations in tactics is a crucial principle that underscores the importance of flexibility, adaptability, and responsiveness in warfare. Sun Tzu teaches that a successful commander should never depend on rigid plans or fixed strategies. Instead, they must constantly evaluate the conditions of the battlefield and adjust their tactics accordingly. Victory, he explains, belongs not to the strongest or the most aggressive, but to those who can adapt swiftly and wisely to ever changing circumstances. So I have prepared here the five concepts of variations in tactics. So the first concept is the five dangerous faults in a general. He identifies five fatal flaws that can bring ruin to even the most skilled military leader. These traits compromise judgment, weaken strategy, and often lead to defeat. One is recklessness, the tendency to take unnecessary risk, often leading to destruction. Second is cowardice, fear that paralyzes action, making one susceptible to capture. Third is hasty temper, losing control and reacting impulsively, which allows enemies to provoke and manipulate. 4. A delicate sense of honor. Excessive pride or sensitivity to reputation can make a leader vulnerable to deception and baiting. And last, over concern for troops. While compassion is a strength, too much can cause indecisiveness and hesitation, compromising the missions. So these faults are not just flaws of personality, they are cracks in a leader's ability to command, adapt, and succeed. Sun Tzu's wisdom reminds us that inner discipline is as critical as battlefield tactics. Let me ask you this. What happens when your strength becomes your weakness? When the strategy that once brought you success now leads you straight into failure. That's the danger of Sun Tzu warns us about in one of most striking insights. He says, "He who relies solely on warlike measures shall be exterminated. He who relies solely on peaceful measures shall perish." It's not about being aggressive or passive. It's about being smart, situational, strategic, flexible. There is no one size fits all solution on the battlefield or in life. If you only know how to fight, you'll burn out your resources, your people, your purpose. If you only seek peace, you'll miss when it's time to take a stand or protect what matters. The world changes, circumstances shift. Your environment will not wait for you to catch up. That's why tactical flexibility is not optional. It's essential. The best leaders are those who read the terrain, feel the tempo, and adjust accordingly. They know when to move, when to hold, when to strike, and when to wait. So the question is no longer, should I be aggressive or diplomatic? It's what does the situation demand right now? And am I prepared to respond? Because survival and victory go to those who adapt, not the strongest, not the loudest, but the most aware. Tactical flexibility is the true strength. Let me ask you something. Is obedience always the right path? What if following orders blindly leads you and everyone depending on you straight into disaster? Sun Tzu delivers a bold warning. There are commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. This challenges everything we often hear about discipline and loyalty. True leadership and true wisdom does not come from mindless submission. It comes from judgment. Blind obedience can turn into soldiers, into victims, strong armies into crushed forces, and even the smartest plans into catastrophic failures. In war and in life, there are times when saying no is the bravest act, when questioning orders can save lives, preserve integrity, and protect the greater mission. Sun Tzu teaches us that loyalty is not about following orders without thought. It's about understanding the why, reading the situation clearly, and having the courage to act in the best interest of all, even if that means disobedience. So ask yourself, are you ready to follow blindly or are you ready to lead with discernment? Because sometimes the greatest act of leadership is knowing when not to obey. Let me ask you another question. When is the best time to fight? Is it always when the enemy stands before you? Or is there wisdom in knowing when not to engage at all? Sun Tzu remind us that the path to victory isn't just about striking hard and fast. Sometimes it's about restraint, choosing your battles wisely. There are roads which must not be followed, armies which not be attacked, towns which must not be besieged. This means not every opportunity is the right opportunity. Sometimes, some engagement can only lead to unnecessary losses, wasted resources, and avoidable disaster. True mastery lies in the discipline to without hold force when it will not serve your purpose, to recognize when retreat, patience, or avoidance will preserve strength for the battles that truly matter. In leadership, business, or life, rushing into every conflict is a path to burnout and failure. Knowing when to step back, when to avoid confrontation, and when to wait for a better moment, this is the mark of a strategist. So the question isn't just when should I fight? It's do I have the wisdom to know when not to fight? Because sometimes the greatest victory is won by battles you wisely choose to avoid. The last 5K concept is flexibility leads to survival. Quoted, the skillful leader subdues the enemy without fighting. Let me ask you this. Is winning always about fighting harder and longer? Or could the greatest victory be one where no battle is fought at all? Sun Tzu teaches us a profound truth. The skillful leader subdues the enemy without fighting. This is not a call to weakness or avoidance. It's the highest form of strength, the power of flexibility, strategy, and influence. True survival, true success comes not from the brute force, but from adapting, outthinking, and outmaneuvering your challenges. It's the leader who can bend without breaking, who changes tactics like water flows around the rock, who turns potential conflict into opportunity. Flexibility means knowing when to act and when to wait, when to strike and when to yield. It means preserving strength, minimizing losses, and achieving your goals with intelligence, not just strength. So I challenge you, are you ready to lead with strength that doesn't always roar? Are you ready to win by mastering the art of flexibility? Because in the end, those who survive and thrive are not always the strongest fighters. They are the most skillful leaders. In leadership, one of the greatest realization is this. You don't lead a team. You lead people. And people are not the same. They come with different strengths, motivations, and fears. So why do you expect one style of leadership to fit them all? The truth is, you can't treat every team member the same. Some need coaching, others need trust. Some need your presence, others need your space. A one-size-fits-all approach isn't leadership, it's convenience. And convenience is the enemy of growth. Let me ask you this. Have you ever reacted out of frustrations instead of clarity? Held on too tightly or let go too soon? I have. We all have. Because leaders isn't about being perfect. It's about learning how to stay present, especially in crisis. So don't let your emotions lead the room. Lead with purpose. Lead with calm. Lead with the awareness that every decision, every word, every silence, you're being watched. So ask yourself in every moment of pressure, is this the time to act, to delegate, or step back? Wisdom is knowing the difference. Leadership is having the courage to choose. In the end, leadership isn't about control. It's about connection. Not about power but presence. And when you learn to lead not just with your head, but with empathy, restraint, and adaptability, that's when you stop managing a team and start building a legacy. To formally end this report, I have summarized the variations in tactics into 6 bullets on this slide. But to end this, I would like to borrow a quote from Sun Tzu. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Let me ask you a final question. When chaos erupts, what do you see? Confusion? Disorder? Risk? Danger? Probably yes. But here, Sun Tzu offers a different perspective. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Chaos shakes the ground beneath us, yes, but it also breaks old patterns, opens new paths, and reveals possibilities unseen in calm waters. True leaders don't just survive chaos, they leverage it. They find the opening that others miss. They move swiftly, decisively, turning uncertainty into advantage. So to end this, next time you face chaos, ask yourself, where is the opportunity hiding in this situation? Thank you and have a good day.